Namaste. Blessed be. I'm Akasha Indigo Ray, and welcome to my channel. This is Akashic Song. All things witchy and wise womany and shamanistic and a whole lot of things. I have not made a video in, I think this is week 5, so I'm glad I made it here today. I normally record on Sundays. I try to upload every Sunday, if not every other Sunday. But as I've said before, I always lead with inspiration. So whatever I feel my guides are sharing with me to share, or something is coming up that I feel like is on my heart to share with you all. So for the past, this is a horrible angle, I'm sorry, but I was having some issues with my tripod, and the sun was shining so beautifully right now. We're just having some wonderful weather here in California. So I did the best I could to just get in front of my altar and share with you guys today. So, yeah, as I've said before, I don't post unless there's actually something that feels pivotal to say or share, or if something is coming up. So where have I been? For the past 5 weeks, I've just been kind of, I mean, I could say I'm just going through it, but that doesn't really describe it. I guess I'm just having a lot of, I don't want to say upheaval, but it feels like whatever's been going on in the celestial realm, whatever's been going on in the stars, has definitely been going on in my life. And I've been pulling a lot of tarot readings that are, you know, the Hanged Man and death, and hold on, you know, there's things are moving and shaking, but hold tight. So I guess what I wanted to share with you guys today was just a little inspiration, I guess. The last week of February, that Monday, which I think was like February 28th, something like that, February 28th, I have a 9-to-5. I'm not one of those people who only does YouTube or social media for a job. I actually have a 9-to-5 job that I report to and get a paycheck for and feed my family and all of that good stuff. And there was a time in my life when I was simply doing tarot and chakra readings and just trying to you know, make music and live a more free, creative life. And just financially, that wasn't something that I was able to do. I'm gonna scoot back a little. I feel like I'm so close to my phone. Just financially and just life-wise, that wasn't something that I was able to do full-time. And so I did go back to work, and I've worked full-time for years. But on February the 28th this year, I found out that the job that I was working at was going to be ending a month later. So my position, I worked for a nonprofit, and I was on a grant, or my position was being funded by a grant. And the organization decided to do all of this restructuring and ended the grant program that I was a part of. And so myself and a couple of other people got caught up in that restructuring and reorganization, and you know, those fun corporate words they throw around. And I gotta say, I was devastated when I first heard it. I got to work, and there was like an email from HR like, oh, come talk to us, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, that's weird. And I had already seen another coworker leaving for the day, and this was at like 9 in the morning. So I was like, that's strange. I hope she's okay. And then I found out how many of us were being affected by this. And there had been people retiring and, you know, pursuing new opportunities and going part-time and all these different things going on around me. And I hadn't thought that it was going to affect me because I had even asked about it and was told that everything was okay. So I was like, okay, you know, I'm okay, but no. It affected me. And when I first found out, yeah, I was devastated. I was like, what am I going to do? I had just paid, I had just sent off our rent. My husband and I had just paid rent, and I was thinking about the next month already, like, what am I going to do? And they said, you know, if you want to go home and kind of, you know, it's a lot, you know, process, figure out what you might want to do, you know, we understand, that's fine. So I went home and I licked my wounds a little. Not gonna lie, I definitely had a shot of vodka. I was not my highest, you know, vibrating self that day. I came home, I poured myself a drink. This was not at 9 o'clock in the morning, by the way. That did not happen until about 11:30. I came home and I stopped at the store and I got like myself a shot of vodka, and I cried. I did. I boo-hooed, like, oh my gosh, this is not what's supposed to be happening. Like, every time I look at my manifestation board, I'm like, this doesn't vibe with what I've been setting up, and it definitely doesn't vibe with, you know, the coming spring equinox, and you know, with Ostara coming, and like the manifestation work that I had been doing. Like, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like what should be happening. And I cried. I was upset about it, and I let myself be sad. I let myself be sad. I let myself be angry. I let myself kind of go through the emotions of, you know, I'm such a hardworking person. I give all of myself, you know, on and on and on, right? I had that reaction. And then when I was finished with that reaction, I took a nap. And then I woke up and I was like, okay, now let's witch this. And I got up out of bed and I came right here to my altar. I'm sitting in front of my altar right now. I came to my altar. I lit my candles. I lit some incense. And I just sat on my little cushion, and I had no idea what I was going to say. I had no idea obviously I need a job, but I just sat there and I was like, I'm just going to sit here and I'm just going to vibe with them. I'm just going to say, hey, I've been creating this practice with my ancestors, and I knew who I was reaching out to, but I just sat there and I said, hey, I know if this ground is falling out from under my feet, it means that it's supposed to, because it's not the right foundation, and something else is going to rise up in its place. And I'm going to trust, and I'm going to let go, and I'm going to let the womb diverse. But I'm telling you that I need help. And I just called out every name of my ancestors that I know of. I said, I need help. And I closed my eyes and I just started to get in touch with Archangel Metatron. And I just sat still and I held that space. And when I got the feeling that I had made contact with Archangel Metatron, I just looked at him. I just looked at that energy, that being, that powerful, potent being, and I just said, I know that I'm not alone. And I totally got that feeling of like, yep, we see you. I was like, okay. And after I finished meditating, I got up from my altar and I went to my computer. I immediately redid my resume, and I sent off I wrote to a recruiting agency, and I said, hey, you know, hi. And I fired off the first like 2 applications, And then I let myself relax again. And I watched some television, and I just kind of took some deep breaths. And I made a commitment to myself. I said, okay, I'm gonna bring an approach to this that is both practical and magical. And I said, I'm gonna apply for 3 jobs a day, and I will have a job by the end of March. I will. I'm not going to walk out of this position on March 27th and not have somewhere that I'm going that feels right to me, and that is the equivalent of what I'm leaving. And I made that commitment to myself, and I heard the Wombniverse answer, yep. And I decided from that moment that I could not change my vibration. No matter what was going on, I had to keep my vibration high. And I'm sharing this with you because a lot of us, practitioners get on here and we share with you these methods of manifestation. But I also think it's important to talk about a situation where you actually had to do this. And in a real time, not just I'm going to cast a circle and I'm going to do a spell and all this stuff. Real time, this is my life and this is my livelihood and my ability to feed myself and my family. This is what I did. So, that was a Monday? Yeah, that was a Monday. Water. I'm drinking crystal infused water. I have a rose quartz in here because I'm just working on self-empowerment, self-love. So Tuesday, I went to work. I did my job. Of course, I had some water cooler moments with coworkers as we were talking about what all was going on. And then when I left work, I went to the curio shop. So we have a Botanico. We have a store called Botanico Shango. I've mentioned it before. And it's a curio shop. There's a lot of Santeria themed items, some hoodoo themed items. I went there and I bought, and I talked to the person. I said, what do I need? I need to remove whatever funky energy is attached to me so that I'm not at all stuck in this fear when I have to do a really big manifestation. I need a very clean slate energetically, and I need to get in touch with the ancestors that are supporting me, that are helping me. And he told me what to do, and I bought 5 candles. I got 5 candles, and they tell you this is Santeria practice. So I'm going to preface this by saying these are practices that are connected to Santeria. When I was in that moment, my instinct told me to go to the Orisha, to go to my ancestors. My people are from Yoruba land. Go to the ancestors. And so I got 5 candles in order to make a cross. And you always start with Elegua. So I had a candle for Elegua, and I had, then there's one for each direction. So in the east, I had Obatala, which is air that was breathed into our lungs. And then in the south, the fire area, I had Shango, who is the warrior king who fights for you. He's the lord of thunder. Lightning. And then in the west water area, that's on this side here of my altar, I had, sorry, I'm having to go backwards in my mind here. Oshun. Duh. I had Oshun. She's the lady of the fresh waters, of the sweet waters. And I was doing extensive work with her at that time, so obviously I kept her energy there. And then in the north quadrant, I had Ogun, who is also a warrior, but he is associated with iron and builds weapons, and so he builds tools for you. So I assembled my spirit army, and the candles were dressed for me for what I was asking for. I went home and I did this bath to cleanse all of the energy off of me that was negative energy that was attached to the loss and the fear and what am I going to do and all that. And then anything that could have been blocking me from receiving my good. So before you do any kind of big manifestation work, I say, this is just my personal belief, that it's good to do a spiritual bath just to kind of cleanse any energy off of you that could be blocking you from receiving your highest good. And then after I took the spirit bath, I used boiled eucalyptus leaves, and I just poured, I boiled them, let it cool, and I poured that water from head to feet, just poured that eucalyptus water all over myself. Eucalyptus is really cleansing, so it just removes any stuck energy. In the water, I bought a packet of herbs that are meant for breaking negative bonds, negative energy, curse removal, any of that kind of stuff. So it's just for if you feel like there's something attached to you that's not supposed to be there. And then I also put cascarilla, which is the crushed up, it looks like chalk. It looks like a little stalk of chalk, and it's eggshells that have been crushed up and fused together. So I broke that up into the bath, the herbal bath, and then after the herbal bath, I poured the eucalyptus all over me from head to toe, just rinsed everything off, and then just took a shower just to kind of rinse everything down the drain. And then I lit all 5 candles, and they were in a cross formation on my altar. And once you do, if you're working with a 7-day candle that's for a particular manifestation, you don't unlight it. So I never unlit them. I lit them and then let them burn all night. And then when it was time for me to go to work the next morning, because I continued to work because I was there for another month, I just put them, we have like a sink, a big wash basin sink in our laundry room. And I filled that kind of a quarter with water, just large enough that the candles would sit really still in them. And I put the candles in the basin and let them continue to burn while I was at work. I never put them out. Now, also, you only want to do that if you're in a situation, you know your home environment. If you're in a situation where you can do that and you're not going to harm anybody and you're safe, then do that. So that's what I did. It's really good to not blow the candle out once you've lit them. So that's what I did. I just put them out in the laundry room because I knew they would be safe. And there's a door there. So if they fall over, they fall into water. In the past, I've left them in the bathtub. You can also do that as long as you can shut a door and make sure that if they fall over, they fall into standing water and move everything away from them. But also, please be safe. Please, please, please be safe when it comes to leaving things lit in your home. My husband and I come in and out of the house at different times, so I knew that they weren't ever just going to be sitting there totally unattended. But if that's not something that you can do, if you have to blow out your candle, there's a way to snuff it out with your fingers or with a snuffer and say a little something as you put it out. And then when you relight it, you do have to kind of call the energy back in to make sure that it continues to have the same potency, the same effect. So I did that. And I want to show you this as well. So this is what's called, I renamed it. You'll find it in books called A Witch's Ladder. I like calling it a manifestation ladder, but you can call it whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Basically, it's yarn, and you braid it. And it's good to do 3 because 3 is for completion. And I'll bring it a little closer. You just put little charms and things in it that represent you or represent what you're trying to manifest. And I made this the last time I was looking for work. And so I just called it in again. I kept it and I will keep it forever. And you know, when I need this kind of stuff, you just pull out your magic, right? It's why we write things down so we can just pull it out. So I put a little, this is a letter, which is K for my name. I put a rose because roses are the flowers that I resonate with the most strongly. They're on my altar right now too, if you can see. And roses represent sweetness, the power of love and harmony, the bringing of light. Roses only bloom in the spring and summer. I put a bell because bells call the spirit. I'm going backwards. Here's a wing because I had asked for Metatron's support. Metatron is an archangel. And then a pentacle because that represents money and the earth element, manifestation. And then a little fairy charm because I work with the fae and I definitely called them in for help as well. And then I put this L for love. Just that I was calling in work that felt harmonizing and that I would love and that was going to help to support me and my family. And what I would do is every day, every morning, I had a ritual work that I was doing. So once I started the work, I let the candles just burn and do their thing, and I kept going to work and I kept applying for 3 jobs a day. But every single morning when I get up, I would sit right here at this altar and I would do my Kriya meditation. I am not this mind. I am not this body. I am not even this mind. I would do that meditation every day. I would chant with my candles lit, and then I would hold on to my manifestation ladder and I would just go, just ring the bell. Just ring the bell. Because right then I'm thinking of coins. I'm hearing coins, just, you know, the six of pentacles are in my mind right now. I just see that rich guy with his palm down, like dropping coins into my hand. I just ring this little bell and call it into me, and then I would leave it on my altar, wrapped around the Oshun candle, because I thought of water as being the flow. And no matter how dicey it got, I would do that every day. My dad reminded me. My dad is very, very Christian, y'all. Very, very Christian. But he practices New Thought. And so it's more about you are what you think. You and God are one. You know, whatever's happening in your life is about what you're connected to. Very hermetic. And he said to me, meditate on how God loves you. And I was like, okay. All right. And every day I would go through my day, and when I would start to feel like stressed out, like at my desk, if I was looking and I wasn't seeing any cool jobs to apply for, I would just sit there and I would say, the universe loves me. The universe loves me. Boom. And I would say it over and over again until I would start to calm down and feel better, and then I would just go on. And I promised myself that I would only apply for jobs that I could see myself doing. Only things that I actually wanted to do. That I would not apply for anything I didn't want to do. I would not apply for anything that didn't make sense for me. I would not apply for anything that was, you know, more than 45 minutes away from my house. I just kind of gave myself some boundaries. Like, I'm not just going to be desperate and do whatever. I'm going to trust that the universe loves me. And I did that every day without fail. I took a spirit bath every single night because I'm doing this sacred woman practice from Queen Afua's book. And so every night you take a bath, and I'm on the first chapter. I'm not the first gateway 0, which is about the womb. And the womb is about manifestation, about birth, right? And I was like, this is perfect. You know, this is exactly what I should be doing right now. So rather than going to bed all stressed out and worried, I would go to bed feeling amazing every night because I'm doing these like womb baths and like with bubbles and salts and all this stuff. And I'm like putting frankincense oil on my womb and on my third eye and like meditating and like doing it. So even though this crazy fear was just under the surface, I kept layering it with love. I kept layering it with love for myself and doing self-care and tenderness practice and calming practice. And I allowed myself to have a glass of wine every night, a glass of red wine every night. I didn't try to go too serious with like, I'm going to just be 100, I'm not going to do that to myself. So that was February 28th. I found out on February 23rd, I believe. No, sorry, March 23rd, something like that. My last day was supposed to be the 27th, and I didn't even get there because I got a job. I got a job. So, yeah, I was really, really happy to see that manifestation take place. And I start this week. But I just wanted to share that because I think it's important to hear from folks when things are really hard, when things are kind of going off the rails, how you use your practice to create manifestation for what it is that you need to happen, but also how you use your practice to maintain a level of peace so that you can actually see the manifestation, so that you can experience the universe loving you and providing for you. The way I see it, we didn't bring ourselves here. We didn't birth ourselves, right? So we are the universe's responsibility to care for us because we didn't bring ourselves here, right? We have no control over where we manifested in the world, right? We came through a womb and we ended up here. So when you're able to look at it like that, when you're able to develop a practice that is about lifting yourself up, grounding yourself every day, grounding myself, that kind of stuff helps you to stay calm. And I did not know where I was going to end up. But what I knew was that I had to end up someplace else. Because what else was I going to do, right? My choice was to freak out and stay in fear, or to just get very practical and very serious and run around and doing a lot of things. And I decided to do something kind of in the middle. I let myself be afraid. I let myself be sad. I let myself be angry for about 24 hours. And then I moved on. And whenever people at work would say, oh, are you going to be okay? Did you find something? I wouldn't get into that with them. I would not go to that. I'd be like, you know what? I know it's going to be okay. I'm a cat. I land on my feet. Because when you go to the woe is me's and you let people have the blues for you, you're agreeing. Remember that. Whatever you agree to is what's happening for you. So I would not do the woe is me's with people at work. I was worried about some other people who have kids and stuff, but I said, you know what? If the universe loves me, the universe loves them too. They're going to be okay. That person has a job as well. I'll just say that. So I just wanted to share that in hopes that if you find yourself in a situation where you have to manifest some major turnover and you don't have a lot of time to do it, I hope this will help. I hope this will support you also in figuring out a way to carve out a practice that not only, magically gets you where you want to be, but also helps you to have some sense of compassion for yourself, and an ability to kind of give a little bit of the control over and follow the breadcrumbs. I followed the breadcrumbs. I just tried to be as surrendered as possible while being spiritually active. And I'm not perfect at any of this. I'm not saying any of this to say I needed a thing and I got it. That's not what I'm doing. I'm actually just saying, hey, I was scared. I've manifested things before when I didn't need them to be here tomorrow. But in this particular situation, it's like, I need this tomorrow. And yeah, I'm in so much gratitude. And oh, here's the last piece. The moment I knew that it was okay, the moment I knew that I had someplace to be and that it was going to be okay, so deeply. I had been exercising. I had been going to the gym every day. I was like doing all the things. And then I just exhaled. I snuggled with some cats. I read a part of a book. I took a nap. I let myself relax so deeply, and I was so happy. And then when I was done, kind of exhaling, I immediately gave gratitude to every being that I had contacted, every energy pattern I had connected with and like connected myself to. Metatron, every moment of grace I was showed in this process, I said thank you, and I offered gratitude. I gave an offering to the Fae. I gave an offering to my ancestors. I poured libation to the Orisha. I poured my heart out to the archangels. I gave gratitude immediately once I knew everything was okay. That's a big thing, because when you are supported by the universe and you turn around and you offer gratitude in recognition of that support, you just keep that energy circulating. So I hope I didn't ramble too much. I think I stayed on point. Sorry this video is so long, but I haven't been here in 5 weeks, so I figured I might as well give you like a really good hello. I hope you're all doing really well, and thank you for stopping by and saying hi to me, and I'm saying hi to you, and may we all have a beautiful, beautiful week. The spring has sprung, and it's glorious and bright and shining, and I had to shut the shades because the sun was so bright and beautiful. I hope you all had a wonderful Ostara, and I will see you here again very soon. Hotep.